All right, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Thursday already, would you believe it? Thursday, August 3rd. As you can see here, taking a look at the daily chart, we had upward trend been broken. We gapped down yesterday and sold off. So the pullback, we had been trending up for a very long time. As you can see, we pulled back here for like a week, and this is looking like the beginning of possibly a little bit of a bigger pullback. I would not be surprised to see us come into somewhere in this, excuse me, somewhere in that area. I think would be a likely area. Also, we have this gap to fill on the daily here. So I'd not be surprised at all to see us come fill this gap, to kind of see us pull back into this area for a potential resuming of an uptrend. I don't know. We could break through this and continue down. Anything's possible at this point, but I would expect us to probably fill this gap, especially with yesterday's gap down and sell off. I looked at the pre-market and we have sold off even more. I think we're somewhere down, maybe a few dollars lower. So not very far from filling this gap. So I think that's a very real possibility, is that we come down at least into this 444 area. That would be my shorter kind of near-term what am I looking to say here? My short-term, near-term target for where this pullback is coming into. If I had to take a guess, that's where I guess it would be. That being said, we are going to dive into an hourly chart to start looking at some levels here. We have some like this that I might mark on the daily that will be relevant as we are coming down into these areas. Let's dive in, take a little look at the hourly time frame. Once again, you can see that trend that we broke out of yesterday. And since yesterday's close, we rallied up a little bit. So as always, I will mark the highs, and I'll do this on a 15-minute chart just to be a little bit more accurate here. But we will mark the high and the low of yesterday's trading session. Always something that I watch for. We have the high there. Designate that with a nice green color. We have the low there. Designate that with a nice red color. All right, sweet. So we have yesterday's highs and lows. We have this kind of key area that we found from the daily chart that was once resistance. Once we broke above it, acted as support. And we can revisit that in a second if we'd like to look at how I got there. We'll look at an hourly time frame, as it might kind of show a bit more of the price action. We have a pre-market high, we have a pre-market low, and then we have this kind of swing area in here that acted as support. Once we broke, acted as resistance, so I'll mark that as well. I think it's valid to look at this zone right in there. So you can see that we kind of consolidated, rallied out of it, broke right through it, retested, sold off, retested, selling off. So that's a zone I'd look for. I think if we are to make our way upwards, we would have to break through both the low of yesterday's trading session as well as this area. And then the next potential target to the upside would be this 451.5, the pre-market high. And also you can see some resistance in yesterday's trading session once we broke below it. So That's kind of my thought to the upside. We would need to break through this area. We need to break through this area. And if we do so, we could probably continue up to here. But as we have broken this trend line to the upside, what I am seeing now is a pretty clear trend line to the downside here. You can see it's pretty clear. We broke above it a little bit here in the pre-market yesterday, but for most part, the past couple days we've been respecting this trend line, unable to break above it. So we have support in here, and we have this kind of downtrend. You can see we're kind of almost forming this wedge in here. You know, we could break to either side, but I think whichever way we break will be a significant move in that direction. So that's something I'm watching for. I usually don't have like big trend lines that I draw. I usually do like support and resistance, but trend lines play a part in that for sure. So we'll keep that there, as it's been pretty relevant. You'd even say that we're in kind of like a downward channel here. Maybe you know, we've been kind of in this downward channel, so we'll see how price reacts. I don't want to come into the day with a bias. I just want to be aware of what's around us, and try to react to what we're getting. So pretty straightforward. We have a zone here from the pre-market. What we got on time? We got about 4 minutes till the market opens already. We're looking at a little bit of a zone up in here. Whoa, now, come on now. Looking at a bit of a zone up in there. A little bit of a zone down in here in terms of where we could see some action. And I'll back it up. And we'll look at some of these other areas that we have drawn from the daily chart. So pretty close below us is this 457.4.5. That is derived from the daily chart, but also you can see here on the hourly chart, big area of resistance on the hourly chart. You know, a few Wednesdays ago, fell, broke above it in the pre-market, tested that high of day, and rallied from there. We haven't tested that level since, so that would be a significant one to watch for, as it's acted as resistance and support recently, and it hasn't been retested yet. So that could be kind of a fresh area that we're looking at. The other is this area here, this 444, pretty much right on the dot. You can see the price action that we've had here. 3 days in a row attempting to break above it, failing to do so. Once we did break above it, you know, we rallied to the upside pretty hard. So if we break down, ultimately, also this is a gap up. So we did gap up. You can see in the pre-market we had a gap up, so there is a gap to fill right at this area as well. So if we're showing continued weakness, we break through these areas of support, I would not be surprised at all to see us fill this gap in the coming day or two. So that's my thoughts on where we are. As far as a trade idea, I'm going to be definitely watching, as it appears that we're showing some continued weakness. I'll be watching this area. If we can break through, these are pretty close together, about a 40-cent range between the pre-market low and that level that I had marked from the daily chart. I want to see us break through these levels. If we break through these, I will look for an entry on a lower high. You know, if we confirm downtrend, we break out of this little wedge that we're in, break out of these support zones, I would look for entry on a lower high for puts, with the potential continuation down to this 444 level. That would be a pretty big sell-off, you know, about like a $4 or $5 sell-off from where we're opening or set to open pretty soon. So we'll see if that plays out. But if we break above this, we have quite a few things in our way. We have this downward trend line that we're forming. We have yesterday's low of day, and we have this pre-market zone of resistance. So we have a lot of things in our way here to break to the upside. So that would surprise me. But if we did, you could potentially target pre-market high or even high of day from yesterday if you're looking for that. So also this pre-market high kind of coincides with a swing low from yesterday's pre-market. So I feel pretty good about those levels that we have drawn up. Now I'm gonna pull over to the trade window as we are getting close to opening. We'll see if we can get everything pulled up in time. We got about 8 seconds. I'm not looking to trade the very opening candle, so we're chilling there. We're gonna trade tomorrow's expiration. Where are we at? We're gonna look at say 448 calls. I'm not really looking to play calls necessarily. Say 447 puts or something. Is that right? Yeah. Alrighty. Sweet. Let's take a look here. That was not what I was trying to do. So we get a rally immediately off of that pre-market low kind of supply, or excuse me, demand zone that we had drawn here. We open right at it. You can see prices reacting out of that area. I'll pull up 15-minute chart down here. See if we can't get this going. All right, sweet deal. So, like I said, we have these two kind of areas of support right below us. We have a lot of resistance above us in the form of trend lines, previous lows, pre-market areas of interest. So we break through here, that shows some pretty confirmed weakness. It looks like we're starting to sell off from that initial pump. But yeah, just watching how things go. You held puts overnight, congratulations. There was a viewer in my live stream yesterday, Mr. AB. I'm assuming it was a Mr. You know, AB had said that they were swinging 449 puts, and as we're opening below 449, those puts are in the money, and I would have to imagine they have made a very nice profit. So Mr. or Mrs. AB, if you're in the channel, I'd love to know where you're sitting with those puts. I'd have to imagine you're pretty happy with that. You see we're selling off into this zone, bouncing right off that pre-market low at 447.88. Almost forgot to switch to my trading account. That would have been tragic because I don't have cash floating in my other account. And I wouldn't have been able to make a trade. So yeah, definitely seeing some support down here. And I will put on some music. I realize I had something missing. I gotta get my soundtrack going. 447 puts, AB, you're back. I appreciate you, my friend. That's what you're in? 438 monthly. Okay. What are those four? I believe you said you had 449 yesterday, right? I'm curious to know. That return has got to be crazy with how cheap those were. Yeah. I'm targeting this 444 at least because we have a gap on that on the daily chart. So I'm expecting us to at least fill 444 before any sort of a return to an uptrend. If we do, I'm not sure we will. But yeah, that gap fill at 444 is one that I'm looking out for. If we break through here, I'm expecting us to trend down into that area. They printed, yeah, dude. I was thinking of you as we were selling off yesterday. I was like, that's got to be one happy person there holding those puts. So, congrats, that's awesome. So we're still seeing some support down here at these pre-market lows. Definitely showing some weakness though. I think it's just a matter of time. But I'd like that confirmation of breaking through these areas to look for us to continue downwards. So we've set a new high for the day. We are pushing up out of this area. I'd be interested to see if we retest this this trend line slash the low of yesterday. Let's see, we have this trend line coming down that we've been respecting for the past couple days for the most part. And it's kind of lining up right with the low of day. And then right above that, we have this pre-market area that we've rejected off of strongly twice. So a lot of resistance above us. We do come up and test this area in here. That's a lot of like confluence or multiple indicators in terms of a trend line. Yesterday's low of day. There's a lot of things kind of adding up in this area that I would look for if we do reach up into here for potential rejection. So once again, we pushed up out of this pre-market low and are getting pushed right back down. So we'll see how this closes. Got a little over a minute left. But we are not showing much strength to the upside by any means. It's just a matter of time before we break out of this area, and once we break out of this area, we really don't have much to support us until we fill this gap. So see if we get that. Have I used Bookmap? I am not familiar with Bookmap. Is that like an indicator? Is that a trading strategy? Pardon my ignorance on that. I'll do a quick Google. Bookmap trading. Oh, it looks like a trading platform. Oh, okay. So I've seen pictures of this. I'm not gonna lie. I've seen pictures and it confuses the hell out of me. It looks like a medical scan or something. But no, I've seen pictures of it. I'm not familiar with it myself, so I can't really comment on it. But it looks like it's targeting, yeah, liquidity. Is it similar to it's an order flow thing? Gotcha. Yeah. Yep, that's something that I have seen traders use in terms of like order flow. I haven't tried it myself. Maybe someday I'll look into it. Yeah, I think there's some validity to it. I know some pretty successful traders that watch order flow to kind of see, combine that with volume to see, if the orders are backing the move that they're seeing, or if orders are weakening as they come into a key level. So I think there's some validity to it for sure. I'd probably just get distracted. That's why I don't have like any indicators really. I try to just use price action, key levels, and volume. I think I've tried trading with like EMAs even, and I just get caught up looking at too many things, and I end up like being unable to come to a decision. So yeah. Still seeing some pretty strong support here. So you can see we're trying to push below this pre-market low. Having a little bit of trouble staying below it, but this might be the candle to do it, so we still have a little bit of time left. Just for the sake of doing it, I'll mark the current high of day. hesitant to do so. I feel like it starts to get a little cluttered on my screen here with these levels, but just to keep track of it. I think we still, do we have any data coming out today? I've been bad at that this week. Usually I check every morning. So Thursday, we do have some stuff coming out at 8 a.m. my time, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard. We had jobless claims and US productivity come out before the market open. And we have ISM services and factory orders coming out at 8. Not sure if that will have an effect. It might. Sometimes before those news drops, we get some kind of low volume chop while people wait for the news. So could be that we see the first 30 minutes of the day a little slow here. All right, so we're showing a bit more of a convincing push below this level. We kind of have this area from, we'll just take a look at this area here that acted as pretty strong resistance and then support once we broke above it. That's this level here. So that's another area that I'm watching to break, you know, for potential sign that we have a strong move downwards. Once we do that though, as I mentioned, we have a gap to fill in this area. I mean, technically the gap fill is to 442.8. But we also, you can see this kind of key level here, how many times we rejected off of that, which is 444 pretty much on the dot. And there's not really much in between those two levels in terms of, you know, strong support. So love to see us break below here, you know, maybe come up and retest. I'm not sure that we'll make it all the way down to fill that gap today, but I think it's kind of likely that we see that in the coming days. I do want to look at this trading day though, see if there were any kind of key levels that we, so possibly 445. You can see we had a double bottom there and kind of reversed on the day. Still a downtrend overall, but that might be one to watch as well if we're looking for a level in between these two. I'll mark it there just so I have some context. But you do see if we break through here, I think there's validity for a pretty strong move down before we have any sort of serious support. So we're definitely showing some strength out of this area for now. Oh geez. What is going on? The scale's all out of whack here. Alrighty. So it didn't quite get to that previous high. Dang. QS is down to 9.4. That's actually crazy. It rallied all the way up to over 13 the other day. Solid power's holding a little bit more steady, less volatility. QuantumScape's an interesting one. Let's see where we at. Tesla's at 257. Apple at 192. All right, so we're pushing up. See if we break the high. So we've broken through the high of the day. By just a few cents there. I would not mind seeing a retest of this trend line in the low of yesterday. For rejection in this area. But we'll see what we get. Got about 9 minutes left until that 2 pieces of news drop. Like I said, I'm not sure how much of an impact that will have, but they're kind of struggling to push through that area. And there we've done it, so slightly higher high of the day. But still, just having trouble getting above that level. We push up and kind of get pushed back down, so not sure that we'll see a retest of this area. That would be a nice setup if we do get up in there. And just in case, I will look at 449 puts. We have 449 here, so if we push up into this area, that'd be a nice strike to target, as you would have it slightly out of the money on the entry. And if we reject, you should go in the money pretty quickly. So we'll look at 449 puts in the event that we do get up here for a reject. But yeah, definitely you can see kind of some lowering volume. We are pushing up. I'm not sure how much strength is behind this move up. We do have some serious resistance right above us, so. Continue to push up a little bit. Alright, so we are getting up in this area. I will be watching to see if we get some sort of price action or confirmation that we are going to get a rejection up here. We do have about 5 minutes until those two kind of data points drop, so a little bit dicey in terms of timing with that coming out and potential volatility that could come with it. We'll see. Found some support off the previous high a day. It's about a minute left in this candle. Also that, what was it? ISM manufacturing and factory, or ISM services and factory orders. That news comes out in 1 minute. So we'll see if there's some volatility on this next candle. That's probably what it's from. Right now we're not getting a ton of volume. So I'd expect that maybe people are on the sidelines until they have some clarity on that. I could be wrong. It could also just be low volume kind of chop due to all the earnings coming out and liquidity making its way into kind of individual names. So we closed below that previous low of, or high of day. We're getting a bit of a move up. Push up into this area, I will look for some sort of confirmation of a failure to break it. And if we get that, I would be looking to enter these 449 puts. Definitely volume stepping in. It seems like maybe that news coming out at 8 was holding some people back, as you can almost see that we have almost as much volume as the previous two candles in the first minute of this one. So some more activity taking place now. Pushing up into that area. Try to be patient and get a good entry on this. That's something that we're testing it. Kind of right at that trend line, right at yesterday's low of day. Ideally, I want to see some weakness in that area. And then I'd love to get in on a following candle if we close this candle with confirmation that we are having trouble breaking this area. Volume's coming in as we're pushing down, so definitely some sellers up there. Yeah, you can see volume coming in as we're kind of getting rejected off that area. That might have been the opportunity to take that trade. I'm not sure that we'll get a retest just based on this current reaction that we're having. You know, we're getting pushed down pretty heavily. If you took that, you're getting a pretty good price swing already with those puts. Yeah, look at that. Volume shooting in. We're getting pushed down pretty heavily. I would love to get a retest, and I would take an entry at that point. Like I said, not sure we'll get it, just based off this current reaction that we're having here. You know, volume shot up, we're selling off. We're in a downtrend. We have kind of a conjunction of things here between the downtrend that we have in terms of that trend line. We have yesterday's low of day. So it's a lot of resistance above us. We're pushing back up into it. We'll see if we get an opportunity to enter a trade here. I'd say the hardest thing about trading is patience, especially for me. I see this happening, I'm like, I gotta get in there. But taking no trade and missing out on potential profits is better than taking a bad trade and taking a loss. So err on the side of patience. I think pretty much all my losses have come from being impatient and getting into a trade without confirmation. So got just a little bit left on this. We are closing kind of closer to that area, which gives me faith that we, or hope that we will get a bit of a retest or an opportunity to enter this trade as I'd like. We tried that 449, got kind of immediate rejection. Finding a little bit of support at that previous high day. Do we get a retest of that area? It looks like we might. Struggling to break 449. A little bit of indecision here. Caught between 449 and the previous high, so kind of bouncing around right in that little area there. Oh, you want to retest? Give me the entry, por favor. Getting a bit of rejection. Yeah, so we're rejecting pretty hard off 449 here. Still finding a little support. Previous day high though, or not previous day, previous high of day. Might not get that retest. I don't want to take an entry when we're right at this area that we've found support at. You know, right in here we've bounced. Or, so not taking a put at potential support. I'd love to take a put right up in here if we can retest that area. If I do get inputs in here, getting those 449 strikes, and I'm targeting kind of the low of the day / pre-market low for the first target. Looks like we might get there. Not sure I'll get an entry on this trade. Next step is right here where we've bounced. Looks like we're breaking below it. Found a little bit more support there. But I think that's not gonna be short-lived. I would not be surprised to see us come back down into this area. Not surprised at all. So we've broken below that support. I think we don't really have much in the way. Next stop is down here. A little less than a minute on this candle here, but volume's shooting up. Since 8 o'clock, we've had some increase in volume, which is nice. Should give us some opportunities. So yeah, we are looking to close below that area. Yep. So we're coming down here. We do get a retest of the previous high. I might look for a quick scalp 448 put. That might be kind of my emotions driving that because I missed my trade up here. Yeah, that's textbook. It looks like we're gonna get that rejection from right in that area all the way down to the pre-market low. That's gorgeous. That's a beautiful trade. I might, it's hard. I might revisit some of my rules. Usually I wait for one candle to close with confirmation before taking that trade. But I think, I mean, obviously if you took a put here, 449 puts or 448, you're doing really well. If you took 448, you know, you're up quite a bit. So maybe that's something that I'll review. I'll kind of reassess that rule that I have. In terms of waiting for one close of a candle to confirm it. Maybe potentially I look at like a smaller time frame, like a 2 minute or something. It definitely errs on the side of caution, but it also can result in me missing some really good moves. That would have been a great trade to take. So we'll see. See what we get here. See if we retest this previous high. We're up above it here. I'm gonna take a put right here. I'm gonna give myself a pretty tight stop loss. I'm targeting this area down here, this previous low that we've had. So we are getting a bit of rejection. Let's see if we can't get continuation down here. So it's about to hit my stop. I'm gonna move that a little bit. I'm gonna give myself just a little bit of breathing room here. I don't want to get stopped out too early. Excuse me. So yeah, you can see I feel pretty confident just based on like a higher time frame as well. We've rejected off this trend line, also yesterday's previous low. We have this previous high that we set. We broke above it, broke below it, retest of it on some lower volume. Sellers are definitely present in the area, so I don't see any reason for us to rally back up. We could, but I would expect us to retest this low here. Everything's looking good from a higher time frame. It's pretty bearish kind of series of candles there. We have support down in this area, so that's kind of why I'm targeting it and why I think that this will play out. All right, we're getting close. That 448 area is my target. We're gonna retest this area that we bounced off previously. If we can break below that, that'd be excellent. So retest right there. Let's see, do we push through? A little bit of a bounce. Testing it again. Let's see if we can push through that. If we do, we should come right down to 448. Officially push below it. 448 is the next target. I'm gonna get ready to take profits when we reach that. I'd like to see a little bit more volume coming in here. The only thing I'm a little concerned about is everything's good so far, but I'd really like to see, you know, some momentum down as we're getting pushed back up, kind of experiencing like this is not what I'm looking for here. There we go. If we can have a, yeah, there we go. I want some convincing price action and volume. I am in profit. I could take profit. I do believe that we'll see this 448 area though, which is why I'm stubbornly kind of waiting for that. We have some volume coming in, about a minute left. I would love to see us close convincingly on this. I'm debating moving my stop to break even just so I have no risk here. And I think I will do that. So we'll let us stop, break even. May have been a little preemptive. It's probably gonna stop me out right here, huh? No? Yeah, so I got stopped out at break even. I should have taken profit down here. I was really targeting this area. That's a bummer. I was, is that greed? You know, I stuck to my plan, but a little bummed out. I could have had a pretty good trade there. Instead, I'm just net zero. Better than taking a loss, but if we come down and hit that target without me, I'm gonna feel a little bit stupid. But I really didn't like what I was seeing here in terms of volume, price action. It felt like we were struggling to move lower, and here we go. So we'll see. So we are selling. Wow. So we may get exactly what I was looking for the second that I got stopped out. Yeah, there you go. It's pretty frustrating. I suppose I shouldn't have moved my stop loss so early. I was a little concerned with some of the price action we were seeing, which is why I did so. Oh god, but it's working out perfectly right after I got stopped out. Oh man, that's frustrating. That's a bummer. I mean, you can tell that moved really nice. Yikes. All right, it's a lesson. I moved my stop loss a little too soon. You know, I should have held faith a little bit more. We still haven't reached the target. But it looks like we will. That's pain, man. That's pain. I feel it. Oh god, stop. Just rubbing it in my face. Yeah, only took one trade. It's looking really good right now. I just got stopped out right before the move, and there's where I would have taken profit. Right there. Oh, man. Oh, it hurts. I hate watching it. I hate it. It's nice to know that I was right. Shitty to know that I missed it. Alright, well. Just moved my stop loss too soon. I think that happens to everybody at some point. That's a bummer though. That was a good one. Yikes, man. It's almost hard to sit here and watch it. Alright, well, can't do anything about it now. What could I have done? I could have set my stop loss, you know, at this high. I moved it to break even too soon is what I did, and we pretty much touched break even and then immediately did exactly what I wanted. So, and when I say touched break even, for me, I put my stop loss at break even, and here we're busting through it. We're seeing volume come in. We might continue downwards. I missed the trade up here. I missed the rejection up here that I was looking for. I got stopped out of this one. What are those 449 puts looking like? How about those moved real nice? Yeah, if you caught that top at 1.8, yeah, like a $70 swing already. All right, so try to do a little live learning here. I should have had conviction on this. You know, I had all these indications that we would reject off that level. We did. So I should trust myself a little bit more on that. I should have taken that trade. That would have been beautiful. What happened here? I was just too... I mean, for what it is, I was too scared to take a loss. So I moved my stop loss to break even way before I should have. There was nothing... Well, I suppose this candle with the price action, us failing to break lower and getting pushed up into this area. But we didn't even retest this high a day. So no reason for me to get out of this trade when I did. It worked out exactly as I wanted. I wanted to reject off here to this area down here. Point of the story being that I was just afraid of a loss, really. I think prior to yesterday, I had 4 losing days in a row. So that probably played into my psychology a little bit. Rather than just letting this trade play out, I moved my stop loss too soon and I got stopped out. So didn't take this one. Should have had more conviction. Got stopped out of this one. Didn't have, should have had more conviction. So I think that's just purely a psychology thing from me experiencing some losing days and trying to avoid that. But I think regardless, you can't carry that experience from previous trading days into today. I should have trusted myself and taken the trades as I'd planned to do. So a lesson to be learned, but no losses on the day. We are at 0. I took 1 trade. I broke even exactly. We're breaking through this area. I'm really looking for a break of this to signal a continuation downwards. We kind of have these lows of day, this previous low that we've tested. Yeah, that contract's moving beautifully. I mean, both those put options, if you got puts up here or puts of the retest here, they moved great, and you made a good chunk. I will be not trading tomorrow because I will be traveling. So there's not going to be a recap video today. There's not going to be live stream or recap tomorrow. And next week I am on vacation. I may try to get access to a computer to trade and stream next week, but that's not a guarantee at this point. So I may be out for a week. But I hope if there's anybody here, I hope somebody against I hope somebody took one of these 2 trades because it would have worked out beautifully for you. And I hope, unlike me, they didn't hesitate or move their stop loss too soon and miss out on fantastic returns. Yeah, it's hard to watch. It's hard to watch. It's doing exactly as I'd hoped. But like I said, I didn't take a loss, so no loss. But an emotional loss as I'm watching the trade play out beautifully. Crazy stuff. I'm gonna stick around for a little bit. I have probably like 20 minutes or so until I got to go to work. I would love to get a good trade in with the price action that we're seeing. If we can break convincingly below this level, I'm looking for entries on a lower high. And I would be looking somewhere at probably 447 puts. We close right below this level. We're a little close for me to take a put here. But we have, you know, increasing volume on this sell-off, so I'm gonna enter. We'll try to play this a little bit more conservatively here. This might be emotion taking over because I missed out on my main trades. So forgive me for that. Definitely entered too soon. That was a bad trade. So I've made a series of mistakes today. Could still work out, but I entered this too soon. I don't like that trade at all. I'm gonna stay confident in this trade unless we break above this area. Ideally, I would have got in at a retest of this area. So bad trade on my part, really bad trade. And that's just emotion. That's a mistake. That's emotion creeping in. I will take another entry at a retest of this area. So I might get a second entry here. And for me to exit this trade, we're gonna have to break above this. James, you may have spoken too early. I took a bad trade, my friend. I took an entry way too soon on this. And a retest of this area would be a valid entry for a trade. But you're right. I did learn from it. I just am. It seems like I'm so close, but I just keep missing. You know, it's comforting that I have some good ideas. But I think just the execution part is lacking. But I appreciate you and your words. Thank you. And thanks for being in the stream. I appreciate you being here. Right, of course. come in and say that I took a very bad trade here. That was driven by emotion. I missed out on 2 trades that I actually wanted to take. I took a put pretty much right at support. That's the worst thing you could possibly do. So I got a bad entry. I took another entry here, so disproportionate loss. I cut it when I said I would if we closed above this area, but absolutely terrible play on my part. And that's emotion. That's emotion from missing out on the trades that I actually wanted to take, getting the better of me. Yeah, a few lessons to learn from. That's a bummer. I didn't need to take that loss. That was unnecessary. I could have walked away from the day with a 0 gain, 0 loss. Instead, I'm probably down 40, 45. Yeah, so that's a bummer. That's ugly. I shouldn't have entered that, you know. I really shouldn't have. I was looking at this level as a pretty strong support. We didn't close far enough below it or open up below it enough to get that retest. So that's my mistake. I shouldn't have taken that trade. And that was strictly a result of seeing this play out and missing the trades I did want to take. So that's emotional control that I need to balance and work on. But with that being said, that will be the last trade that I take today. I'm gonna hop off and go to work. I hope all of you have a green day. I hope all of you have a great weekend. And thanks for stopping by. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.